We'll start time at 6:30. Would you please stand and recite the Pledge of Allegiance, please?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So we're going to start off with some highlights
Yeah.
for the middle school
Yep.
and the elementary school.
We're going to start off with our Monroe-Gregg Elementary. We were asked to go over data. So I learn, I read, and then things that we are doing to help improve our scores. And iRead has changed a little bit. iRead is a mandatory test that originally all third graders had to pass before they could go on to fourth grade. This has changed. There used to be good cause exemptions where you could go ahead and send them on to fourth grade. That has changed a lot. Now we give it in second grade, and second graders have 2 opportunities to take it. And then if they do not pass, they have an opportunity to go to summer school. And it just helps us see who we need to do interventions with to get them ready to pass it in third grade. There are no consequences in second grade. In third grade, and if they have passed it in second grade, they do not have to take it again in third grade. Now, this is the first year that third graders, if they do not pass after 3 attempts, we do not have an option. They have to stay in third grade. Parents can disagree, but they have to repeat third grade unless they were held back twice between kindergarten and second, which I wouldn't want to do that. Or if they are a multilingual student and they have not been in a program for 2 years. Well, that's very uncommon. By the time we are in third grade, they've already been here. So special ed there is, if they have a reading disability with an IEP, then we can give them a good cause exemption. So the stakes are pretty high, and they have to continue to take it up through 7th grade until they pass it. Are there questions about iRead? And iRead honestly is a good test. I will say, out of all the state tests, it is something that our students should be able to pass.
How many don't pass in second grade? I mean, like, is this the first year we've done it this way?
No.
So
We always
last
opted
year,
in.
It was kind of this way for the
Yeah.
last few years, right?
We have, I'm really impressed with our second grade. I don't have the numbers right off my
Yeah,
head,
that's
but
fine.
we had close to 50, 52 that passed. And so then.
52%?
No,
Or
52 students
Okay.
out of probably 118.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's great. And it is a different version. It is more of a second grade. It's a little bit different than the actual iRead 3, but it's a predictor that they are ready.
And then if they're not, then we put them on some kind of a plan to kind of prepare them,
Right.
like a different path or something?
Right. And that's where we have to, so I have to set them up with intervention. For second grade, what I do, then we, not red flag, but we know that those are the students that we will target with interventions during our win time with our title group, and they are on our radar. Third grade, if they are retained in third grade, they repeat third grade, and they have to have a reading plan. So I have to create a reading plan for them, and they have to be taught by a teacher who is science of reading trained.
So was this enforced last year then? I mean, I remember talking about this last spring, right?
Right.
And I know we were kind of thinking, oh, this could be not good as far as numbers of kids in summer school and things like that. I
Right.
just trying to get an idea.
Last
of
year
what we
was the
thought.
first year, but this is the first year that, last year was the first year that we had to retain.
Right. How many did we have to retain?
2.
Oh, that's.
But I had a couple who ended up making other school choices
Right.
because of that, so.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, that's much better than I thought. We were kind of talking about last spring. I thought
Right,
that the
right.
number was gonna be higher than that, so.
And we do have a large population of our multilingual in third grade this year. And I think I read is a great test, I do. But I think the playing field's a little off if it's not your first language. And so that is something that we are really trying to remediate and help because it's difficult.
Is the early indication in second grade like a pretty good indicator of trouble for third grade? I mean, like,
And Casey can speak to that also, being the second grade teacher.
And so with the second grade, they come back with 3 scores instead of just pass and not pass. They come back with 300. You could pass, you're considered on track, or you're considered at risk. Our on track kids have proven you came back on track, they're passing it without any interventions whatsoever. So it's saying skills you have now going forward from there, you're going to be fine by the time you hit third grade. Our at-risk kiddos are the ones we've already deemed at risk. Very rarely are we getting one that popped up. I will say we've had a couple exceptions. This is their first standardized test that our second graders have ever taken. So it's the very first one that they take. So it does pop up a few kids that, oh, you might have test anxiety. We need to, kind of check this out a little bit. Or some of them who didn't realize. We had a couple high readers who didn't realize this was kind of important. And then they were like, oh. And then we kind of put the effort in kind of through it. It's been a very accurate indicator. I will say on the second grades, and we have done previously when it was optional, it's optional. If they pass, that's great. We have put a bigger emphasis on it in the last couple years, but this is really important for our kiddos and just laying it out so they're not surprised if something comes up in third grade and just kind to get that data out. We've done a bigger push on preparing them for the types of questions. Before we just taught the skills that were going to be on it and we kind of let it go, but we're doing a much bigger push on preparing them for the type of questions they're going to see because we found that's a thing too. Like there are lines where you need to choose one word that works in both sentences and our kiddos don't see those questions in second grade. Pick a vocabulary word that works in 2 different sentences. They keep trying to pick 2. I don't know how many times we sit there on the question, you have to pick one, like things like that. They're just not used to test questions. And then we're now asking them to take this and turn it into something a little bit bigger. And if it's a test, second grade can take off that third grade amount of test. That's what we're trying to do, if we can get it through. So
I've been
it is
very
accurate,
pleased.
yes.
I've been very pleased with the second grade.
and I guess
The number who are able to pass it.
Right, and I guess my thought is, I was thinking like, okay, you can't just look at the number that passed and say you did good or not, right? As you look at growth, I would think you'd look at growth and like, oh, 50% of them didn't pass in second grade, but you have less fallout in third grade, which the number you gave is like, that's probably about 99% passing, right? So
Well,
it's,
Not necessarily.
yeah, you're getting
Yeah,
close.
you'll
We're
see.
getting way
Here in a
out.
second.
Okay.
Yeah.
So on the opportunities, does that mean so third grade, there's 3 opportunities. Can they take it in March? If they don't make it, they take it again in May, or do we have to just pick one if they're
No, so what we do, they will take it, I think it's like March 2nd. March 2nd and 3rd, we'll have second grade and third grade take it. Those who do not pass, then we set up intervention groups where we are just focusing on how to take the test, being prepared for the test. They'll take it again in May. If they don't pass it in May, it's a mandatory summer school, and they take it again. If they can't go to summer school, I can offer it to them the 3rd time. But if they don't take it again, they're automatically retained. That's third grade. Second grade, they'll take it March 2nd and 3rd, and then they'll take it in May. And then what we like to see is at least growth, that they're on track if they didn't pass
I
it.
guess that's what I was thinking.
Right,
Probably
right.
the indication, right?
So you said you lost 2 to other,
No, I had to retain 2, but I did have a student who chose to homeschool
okay, so that's.
to get the
okay,
loophole
Yeah.
of not being retained.
Okay, yeah, right. But I was gonna, because I thought you said other schools, and I thought all schools had to.
All schools do have
Okay.
to do this, yes, no matter, as long as it's an Indiana
Indiana,
school.
right,
Mhm,
yeah.
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
Then one other question I have, like, okay, so you have the student that you identify as struggling in second grade or third grade, whatever, that you gotta really put this intense focus on reading, right? At what cost is that, right? I mean, if they're doing extra reading, they're not doing something, I would think. Is that true? Like, I guess I'm just
class,
saying, like,
is that what you're asking?
yeah, I mean, you only got 8 hours a day or 6 hours a day in class. I
We
mean,
do our
if you-
90 minutes of reading, we were mandated
It has to
90
be
minutes of-
outside of the
yes.
90
So
minutes.
it's outside of that 90 minutes, and we have that win time that we dedicate to those kids.
So that's
Along-
what- okay.
That is the time.
I was just trying to figure out, like, how do you
So our
find the
kids that
extra
are-
time, right?
Those kids that are already high, we push them onto other things who have already passed or are.
And the kids are behind, okay,
And the kids who are behind, we group those together and work on
got it,
that as well.
okay, thanks.
Okay, next. Also, we have a new formative assessment. So iLearn that we're getting ready to talk about has changed. iLearn used to be a lengthy test, and 3rd through 8th grade has to take iLearn. Well, now they have changed it up, so this is the first year we're going to get a shortened version. But now it's required that we take 3 checkpoints before we actually take iLearn. So our students they've taken checkpoint 1 and checkpoint 2. And what a checkpoint is, they divide all of the standards that are going to be covered on iLearn, and they chunk them. And so you can give checkpoint 1 anytime in this window, then you can remediate and give it again to see that they got the concept. So it sort of just narrows down the standards so we can see, oh, most of our kids, they don't have this yet. Do they not have it because we haven't taught it yet? Those kinds of things. So we are learning to use this in the best way possible, and I'm hoping that test 4, the actual iLearn, that is what we get our grade from, and that's what we're graded on. So we're hoping that it being a shorter version will help our kids, because when you think of all this testing, by the time they get to iLearn, they're done. So it is a lot for our kids.
How do you guard against, like, checkpoint 1, checkpoint 2, and checkpoint 3, and that you're not just, like, preparing them for the test, they're actually getting the concept, right? And I don't know if I asked that properly, right? Like, you could be like, oh, yeah, I could just take steps to make sure you pass the test.
You can.
And they could still not be getting it and understanding. I mean,
No,
how do
they
you-
would have to
they
have
would-
it to
okay.
be able to pass.
Okay.
And I will say, like I had said, I think is a great test. iLearn's another beast. It truly is. It's difficult.
Okay, thanks.
You know? And then, so these are the subjects that are covered in iLearn. And the window for iLearn is April 13th through May 15th. And 3rd grade, they take ELA and math. 4th grade, you add science. 5th grade, you add social studies. And then, of course, 6th grade, you add science. And then 7th and 8th, they're back just to ELA and math. Now, if you get on the state website, you can see this, but like I said, with iRead, the goal for all Indiana schools is to be at 95% by 2027. The state at this time is at 87.4, and we are at 88.3. So I feel like we are headed in the right direction. And then you can see the state is in black here, and we are in blue. So we are above the state, and you will see 2019, I think that's when that is, that we had everybody pass that year, all students. So that's a rarity, and that was after a second attempt because they could take it in summer school also. We'd like to get back to that though. But if you look at our iLearn scores in 2024 and then 2025, and then at the end here we have a comparison between both years. And so you can see where it has changed. Last year, the checkpoints, we piloted the checkpoints. That's the formative assessment. It was based on the new standards that are required this year, but they gave the old iLearn, which was the old standards. So we're not sure if that plays a bit of this also, but again, this is just what we are given and what we have to do. If you'll go to the next, there's some reasons that we've just tried to brainstorm what was different in 24 and 25. Well, in 2024, we had reading and math interventionists. So when I kept talking about the intervention groups, we had licensed teachers who were helping us with that. And now it's up to the classroom teachers to be doing the interventions, and we have tried to tweak our title from just primary to school-wide, but that sort of waters it down just because you're spreading your people over 750 students instead of the K-1-2 to get those foundations. In 2025, no longer had the interventionist. We are limited on our instructional aides to assist in coverage, so we're having to double up our classes, add students. And then the checkpoints, of course, formative testing was based on new standards. And then I learned, like I said, was on the old standards.
And that correlates to the charts before.
Mhm.
Can you go back to those charts before real quick?
Mhm.
The one that's got the 24, 25. So you're looking
So
24.
you look at the comparison. The third grade in math.
Those are our scores in the comparison
Yes.
column.
Yeah,
So third grade, we went down 8 percentage points.
Yes.
Fourth grade went down 20%, or fifth grade went down 20 percentage points.
so third to fourth grade is what that is. And so those third graders who were fourth graders, what did they do?
Okay.
And then our fourth graders scored 37%, and then in fifth grade it was 17.
Say that again. So in
And look
fourth
at
grade,
the comparison.
yeah, that's where I'm looking.
So the green third grade.
Yep.
Those are third graders in 2024.
And then they're fourth graders in 2025. I
Yes.
see you're going,
Yeah.
okay, you're just moving time alignment.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
So
And we
30,
try to always track, because you can't show growth with third grade, so it's fourth grade and on that they start showing growth. So, but you can see.
so we regressed in that year is what this is basically
Yes.
telling us,
Yes.
pretty significantly.
Yes.
Now, is that fifth grade when they added the science to it? Is that the one that had English language and math for a couple years?
They
and
have
then added
science, but that doesn't count against us yet, because that is something that the state has started talking about, that science and social studies, that will be held accountable for those also. Now we just get the test scores and we look, to see how but we're not graded on that.
That math test, I'm just gonna do this. That math test is not the math test you took. That math test is a very detailed question that if you can't read well, you are not gonna be able to figure out what the question is asking. It is 4 steps, and then it comes down to one little thing here on whether or not you're gonna get it right. But this test does not show whether or not your kid can do math.
I wish we could get this test and everybody here take it, because to watch a third grader.
I'm glad you can't.
Yeah, but even myself, but watching them struggle, because for reading, it's on the computer, and just imagine a third grader, they have to read and then scan, scroll down, keep reading, scroll down, go back up, come to the question, and then go back to the reading and scroll and find what they're looking for. There's just a lot to it. There really is.
There's something to be said about pencil and paper.
Oh, exactly.
I was at a conference where they showed us that, and I'm a math minor, and of course I can't use a computer at all. And the concept of scrolling, it's no wonder.
Right.
I think it's ridiculous.
And I will share, the stress of our kids during this time is intense, and especially last year with the high stakes of I read, and I have someone who's like, he says he's mad at the government because he was held back, and so it's like,
Oh, great.
I know, but it's like that's how he pictures it, is because
Keep an eye on that kid.
no, he's not a kid, so
Yeah.
we can go ahead.
Thank
So what are we doing to improve? Well, for our ELA initiatives at the elementary, we have adopted a Cadence, which is Dibbles. It's a reading screener, and we're using that this year. And the state requires that we have some kind of reading screener. And so we have chosen this, and we are training each other. And actually, we've been doing our middle of the year testing this last week, and it's really been a great tool. Our teachers are science of reading trained, and now the law has changed that teachers have to take a test, pass a test on the science of reading to renew their license. And it is, I think it's 2027, that if after 2027 they try to renew their license, if they haven't added that, they can't teach. So that's another level there for our teachers. We have reading buddies. We still are continuing that with community volunteers, and we've restructured our title program to be school-wide because we don't have the interventionists, so we're just trying to use everybody that we have. And then for math, the state will require, and they're going to do a math screener in 2026, 2027, which there's talk out there that that might be the new science of reading for math, so I don't know what that will entail for our teachers. But we have been able to get permission to work with CIESC, and they are going to come into our schools and do a math audit in the spring. So they're going to come in and see what we're doing for math, how we're teaching math, and help us out, and then meet with the administrators in the summer. And then all of next school year, they're going to work with us by sending us like a math coach. And on our PD days, they'll be coaching us on things that we can do to improve our math instruction. So I'm really thankful that we were able to get this PD. And then we're doing something just on our own. I'm going to let Mr. Flynn come up for a few minutes to explain skip counting that the kids are really excited about.
Good evening, guys. Good to see all of you here tonight. So before I took this role that I have now, math is kind of my specialty, similar to the math minor that Mr. Elliott said. And so we worked on, as we're doing all this with reading, what are we going to do as a group in itself to work on math? And so this summer I worked with pinpointing, looking through some data and things of where some struggles might be. And so the teachers have been doing a great job. We started off, we had a spiral review that we are keeping consistent across the entire school building. Each grade is doing a spiral review. Part of that comes from no longer having the math interventionist who would see students from all the classes. We had to kind of tighten things up that we were sure students were getting the same reviews and different things like that. So on top of that, another thing that we drilled in on with the data was just multiplication fluency and students knowing their multiplication facts. And I have said for years, I used to tell my students this, that if I had an invention that I could just come up and put my hand on your head and all the multiplication facts were there, I'd be a rich man. And so it does require a lot of work. And so with part of that, one thing that I used in the classroom that really worked well with students as they began learning multiplication was being able to skip count. And then when you do some digging around, there's some pretty interesting songs that go with the skip counting. I'm sure a lot of you can pick out, a song you heard 20 years ago, and then like magic, you're singing the song when you haven't heard it for 20 years. So it's kind of the same thing that we're working on here with skip counting school-wide, and so with each multiplication fact. Now, Mr. Kennedy, Mr. Kazee, you may remember some of these from when I had your kids in school, so I don't know, we'll have to see. But our 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade, Mrs. York, recorded them singing a couple of these, so I'll let her play a couple of those for you guys, and then we'll talk about the incentive. So 4th grade, they showed off a little bit here, and they're going to do 12s. And just before you play that video, just kind of the idea of it, especially, so we are starting this with 3rd grade and 4th grade, and our hope is by the time they've got to 5th grade, that they've got all their facts down. But in the event that they don't, this is one that they can go back to. And it's been great to see when we have, I've had a lot of students, and I'll talk a little bit more about that in a moment, they come and say their facts, and the benefit of it is if they can go, if I ask them, what's 7 times 6, they can go, well, hold on, 7, 14, 21, and count up, and they realize that, and it's, for some of them, kind of a light bulb moment. So here's 4th grade with their 12s. Oh, sorry. Oh, no problem.
Ready?
12, 24, 36, and 48, 60 and 72, 84 and 96, 108, 120, 132, 144 and 156, and 168.
So, a couple of things they want us to point out. No music was needed. And they hit the high note at the end too. So that was our 4th grade, and then here we've got 5th grade, and they got a little animated with their song here. 6. So in a moment, Mrs. Baer, their 5th grade teacher, I think she'd, our band director, she'd give him a challenge. She is directing, and she's going to pop up here in a minute. So it really has, first of all, credit to the teachers that all have been on board, because everyone consistently has been showing these videos. And then what we've done is kind of an incentive to kind of make it fun for the students. We have been, Mrs. York on the announcements has been saying, for about 2 or 3 weeks we're going to be, Mr. Flynn, Mrs. Tucker, Mrs. York, we're going to be in the hallways asking if you can skip count. And then if they can, when we catch them, then they get a reward. And so one huge plus I can say is that I have never had so many students coming up to me saying, "Can I say my multiplication by 6s for you?" It's a good thing. So we do have some little rewards, which you would be surprised. I don't know if this is kind of like the Pokemon type thing or whatever, but they get little trinkets here. So for a particular set of facts, they could earn a pig, and the pig comes in different colors. People trade, and it's kind of a big deal. And so we have done that for each of the set of facts that we're doing. And this is, if they're not, hopefully no students are watching, but a spoiler, we're going to conclude it with a bulldog here. And so that'll be when we get up to the 12s. But so that has been great that students have been on board. We have seen improvement. We're going to be doing just a multiplication type assessment toward the end of the year, and hopefully this is something that will continue. And it's getting a lot of students, it's been encouraging to see in the cafeteria when I'm in there, they're working and singing the songs together, and there'll be times that they will want to sing as a whole table one of the songs. So just exciting to be able to motivate them and have so many students on board. So. Does anybody have any questions, or would any of you like to try one of them?
Well, I was wondering, could you sing one?
I don't think that'd be good for anybody, Jack, okay?
I have one stuck in my head now.
Yeah, I do too.
I heard it a lot.
Yeah, I'm sure you did, Kai. Yeah. All right, thank you, guys. I'll turn it back over to Melissa.
School-wide interventions, we are our multi-tiered systems of success. We have a team of teachers that work together. You have to have an MTSS team. It used to be called RTI in the past, and it's that we are working with students and classroom teachers. If a classroom teacher sees that somebody's struggling, they turn them they not turn them in, but they submit their data to our team, and then we assign one of our teachers to work with that grade level, and that is how we collect the data to show the interventions that we're trying. And then it's an 8-week rotation, and we are able to show growth. Or if we see that everything we're trying is not working, if we need to go down the special education testing referral, we have to have all that data before we could do that. So it's just showing that we're trying different things. And then win time is what I need now time. And this is when title pushes into every grade level. They're either pulling students, but also within whatever group they do not have, the grade levels, they're dividing their either grade level or classes apart so that they can work on the skills that each of our students are needing. Now I just end with highlights and I'll be finished. But first semester we had a lot of great things going on in the elementary. We have our firefighters who come and eat lunch at each month. That's been great, very popular. So I'm really excited. They even get to choose a few students to go out to see the fire truck. We did the Thanksgiving Macy's parade where they were able to create their own floats in 4th grade. And I don't know if you can tell who the Grinch is, but he's here, so. And then, of course, they did Christmas carols, and we had 5th graders playing ukulele, so they were caroling to our classes. And we had Grandparents' Day. The Veterans Day parade was great. Our specials team on October 31st, they had a glow party where the kids got to go and have a lot of fun. And we love our therapy dogs. They get to come and visit. We have several different therapy dogs. And then, of course, our 5th graders with the Lions Club, they decorate Christmas trees. And then second semester, we have a lot of things we're looking forward to. We're going to do a school-wide 100th day of school activity. In February, we're going to do some kind of theme day on the Olympics so that when it's cold and dark and we can't get outside, we can do something together as a school. Our reading night, One School, One Book, is in March. Special night, I think, is April. And then pause the PTA, they're doing a game night soon. And then, of course, track and field in the 4th grade 400. Some of the things that we're able to offer after school: Manners Club, Running Club, Robotics Club, Chess Club, a Reading Bowl, and Math Bowl. So we're trying to get activities that our kids can stay after for. So that's something great to look forward to. So, anything else? Okay.
So I just got a question. So they're making the testing for the kids to be harder. You know, they're having to meet that. The teachers are getting the stress of trying to get the kids to there. What's in the, I guess just a question, is there something that the school is not providing to the teachers that would really be a big help in that? Is there a piece to the puzzle that's missing? Not that, you know, I mean, if, just asking, I mean, now's your chance.
Honestly, I know that our budget is,
Absolutely,
I know
yeah.
that. But I will say that losing our interventionist and our extra bodies, that's been the biggest hit. And I know that we can't make money up here, but that really is what has just added that last punch on trying to meet our students' needs. And I mean, our teachers are amazing, and I would put them up against any other teacher or any other school, but their hands are full, their plates are full.
Yeah, Mr. George, just to speak on that for a moment, it has, you know, if you think about it, with our interventionists, it was targeted to the specific students that each day they were getting to meet in small groups. And our teachers are doing a great job of meeting in small groups, but it just, you know, there's only so many times you could meet with the students rather than meeting with the student every day like what was happening with intervention. They've got different groups that they have to do. So it's just more of that targeted one-on-one. We don't have that opportunity as much as we used to.
And was the interventions that we had, was that 2 positions full-time?
Mm-hmm.
And then they worked with all of the
3rd, 4th, and 5th.
3rd, 4th, and 5th?
Title works.
And second, a little bit in second.
But that the title could focus
Yeah,
on
the
K
title,
two
yeah.
and didn't have to do 3 through 5,
Right.
and now title does.
And so if title can focus on that K2, they can get them ready for 3rd grade because we're just focusing on the reading. And now we're using title for reading and math for everybody. So
And, I mean, it is a competition, I mean, that's what it is. I'm sure you guys know people that teach at other school corporations. Are other school corporations, are they using interventionists, and can you see an increase in their test scores? I mean, is there data, you know what I'm saying, where you can get.
And I can get that data
Here's two or
for
three
you.
examples.
Right. And it's comparing apples to oranges
Yeah.
though, with different kids, but yes, there are still schools who have interventionists.
I would kind of comment on that because we've sort of seen that transition and, when you have an interventionist in the building, whether it's reading, math, or both, that's their focus. Whereas the classroom teacher is teaching all of that tier 1 group instructionally, and then they have to do additional planning on top of that to kind of meet the needs of all of those individual students, out of their entire classroom. So that's additional prep time, it's finding time to plan, whereas an interventionist, that is their job. Their job is to pull those small groups, do the planning, track the data. Because we also ask our classroom teachers not only to track data of their grades, but to track the test, the assessments that we give as we provide those interventions, because data informs the next step for us. Therefore, you know, we're asking our teachers to do that as well. And so that's kind of the difference in the flexibility that additional support provides our teachers in planning that.
Yeah. And without getting something thrown at my teacher, I know we're all here, is that something that would it warrant, this is, if you don't know if you don't ask, all right?
Right.
Would it warrant, or could it warrant larger class sizes to have some intervention, you know,
Just
not a
reallocating the
give and
resources
take,
is
but
what you're thinking,
yeah.
right?
You know, I don't know, I mean, I'm just trying to, I think we're to the point, we gotta think out of the box and
Well,
outside of what normal
I
is.
would invite you to come to a classroom of, I know I'm just saying like of primary students. So back in the day, they had prime time where you were capped at 18. That's a perfect number. I mean, like if I could give my teachers 18 students, they would be like, yes. The older they get, the more independent they are,
Right.
so they can do things on their own. Kindergarten, first, second, the teacher is, I mean, you can ask Krista again, Casey, but they are not independent. So to have 25 plus, that's where we are. If we went to 30,
And I don't know that I necessarily meant increased class sizes just in the elementary. I mean, is it something that, because it does take I'm sure it takes a lot more work. I mean, there's a certain part of work that's just trying to keep them
Right.
safe, you know, or,
Right.
you know,
like herding
maybe the
cats.
adjustments in middle school or high school to try to adjust some of that out, so where the elementary doesn't take the brunt of. I guess what I'm saying is, I'm not saying only increase the elementary class sizes to get you guys.
right,
I'm just-
right. It's definitely a conversation.
What are our class sizes at the,
And we are about, now you put me on the spot.
I'm sorry.
No, you're good. 22 in kindergarten, somewhere around there, 21, 22. If I'm wrong, correct me. Per class, yes. And then first grade, it's about the same. Then second grade, we go to 24.
All of us have 24 and one has 26.
Yeah, and then it's the same up through, so about 24 to 26 in the upper grades.
okay, so having subbed at another school system for 2.5 weeks, I honestly don't know how you do it with 24. Of course, I'm 72 years old, so I came home tired every day. But my lesson plans were already planned out for me. All I had to do was take attendance and lunch count, playground duty. You know, I don't know how you could increase it and keep sanity.
Right,
Just to be honest,
right.
you know. But it's like Mr. Sears has said, we've got to try to think outside the box, and because you know, who knows what this next year
Right,
holds for us.
exactly.
So
And I appreciate this information. I mean, it kind of, come to the school board meeting, but we don't really get told this kind of stuff. I mean, I guess we kind of know, but it's interesting to hear, actually
Right.
have it told to you. It's a little eye-opening, I think.
Good.
And the only other question, not just keep talking, but the testing that the teachers are gonna be required to pass. I know my sister's a teacher, so I think she's gonna be done, so I don't think
Yeah.
she has to worry about it. But is that something that other school corporations are providing training or refresher classes? Cause I know, if I had to go back and pass the same classes I did in college, I couldn't do it.
It's not just the test. It's a mandated number of hours you have to take. You have to 90 hours prior to taking the test.
90 hours of what, I'm sorry. I
Of
don't-
training.
Of training.
Of training prior to.
On your
taking-
own time.
on your
And do
own
we
time.
provide that for you, or is that out of
The
your
state
pocket?
provided it. So last year was the first year. The state provided a stipend to go along with the last year. So quite a few of our teachers did it while the state was offering a stipend and then a voucher to take the test. They're offering it free currently. We anticipate eventually a teacher will have to pay for it itself. So our new teachers that graduate will already have this training through their college. So anyone who graduates after 2025 will already have had this training through their college. They will just have to pass it like they would have to pass any other teacher's test. So they will have that training. So what we have is a gap. Teachers who are already here, who need these 90 additional hours and who have to now pass that test. So you have to take the training that the state is offering.
What's the training look like? Is it like a
It's
lesson
on-
plan, or is it just
No,
a,
it is lots
a
of
video-
videos, lots of,
videos?
it is.
I've taken it.
and then an
We are
extensive test
we have
again?
teachers who are passing it.
Mhm.
A lot of the ones we've band together, we've got study guides, we have lots of things that are happening to help teachers pass the test. But that's how it's going.
It's gonna be,
So the
is it
state's
every
doing
year?
everything they can to increase
Is it every
the number
year?
of teachers that we
Once it's-
have.
when you're at-
Taking the test.
Once you
And
get
that
it,
was just
takes
reading,
it.
but now you have to start doing the same
One
thing.
time.
We don't
know
know.
yet.
We don't know, but
We
they
anticipate it, yes.
they are telling us we will have a mandatory math screener.
But after 2027, if you don't pass it, you don't have a license.
Which helps us with the number of teachers
Correct.
that we have. listed.
So, the game is, you either can renew your license prior to 2027, and then people might live out your license and then retire. That is what they're saying. They don't wanna take these hours.
Is it a one-time deal?
The licensing, yes.
Once
it's
you,
one
once
test.
you get that, you don't have to go back.
Until they change.
Until
They change it, yeah.
Yeah, in 2
But
years.
it's not even just we took a test. Teachers who've got a degree in reading and have a master's degree in reading and all these other tests they took said, sorry, you still need to take the 90 extra hours and pass this other test. So this wasn't just a new something. It was,
Is the test,
it's not friendly.
yeah, that's what I.
So what you have is people who've only taught, I don't know how a new teacher would pass this test in all honesty. There's a lot of experience here that you've been able to apply. Was it 3 hours? It's 3 hours timed. 3 hours timed, 4 open response questions and the rest are multiple choice. 96 multiple choice. And
What's passing?
to score? Oh, I don't.
70,
They don't care if
It's
the
not,
say
it's
pass.
a little number. It's like a 3-digit number. Like, it's not a percentage.
Yeah,
It's not a percentage of like, it's a number out of whatever the magical number was.
But currently, they are giving you training for it.
Right now, you just have to sign up and do it,
You have to take advantage of it.
and you have to time it out, like when you can do it, that's the other thing.
Is there anybody making sure that everybody's taking advantage of this?
We've promoted
know?
it a lot. Here within our district, we have promoted it really hard. I do a check-in, usually about quarterly. Are you planning on taking it? It's still offered free, you know. I check in with new teachers to make sure if they were in that gap. Like, they've come from another school and maybe that school was not promoting it so much. Some schools were just hoping it would disappear. So they didn't promote it at all. So you check in with those, and some don't have to take it at all. If you're not teaching reading, your school can offer you an exemption. So like we have K through 6 teachers who are licensed as elementary teachers. That's their primary license, but like she only teaches science. She can get an exemption. She doesn't have to take it, but you have to offer those exemptions. But she goes anywhere else and doesn't have it, then we're promoting anyone without license to get it while you can and try to knock it out.
And this is above and beyond your normal
Yeah.
licensing test that you
So
go
all of
through.
us, a lot of us try to take it over the summer. We try to do, you can do it live or you can do it on your own. So there were live classes that were like a week straight that some people did for 2 weeks straight, daily. They went to did their 90 worth of hours and then
And then there was a part we had to do on our own.
and then the other hours you had to do by yourself, reading the articles and responding.
Sounds like a fun summer
Things have
vacation.
changed.
It was a great vacation, but we did what we could. So we are trying to make sure that everyone is not, they're going to be prepared.
It's a lot, 90
Thank you.
hours.
I failed my driver's test when I got my CDL. I made me go back and take it. I didn't.
So what good news do you have, Mrs. Hines?
Continuing.
Well, there's a lot of overlap between the elementary and the middle school. So we kicked off the year, you can go to the next slide, with our mission in front of us, knowing that mission is possible. Like we can continue to encourage growth. That's our big thing, and provide these opportunities. You can go to the next slide. So when we look at this data before we get started, just recognize that we look at kids more than just numbers, and it's a good thing, because if we look at the whole child and what we're growing in the middle school. So there's some positives, but there's some things that aren't very positive. So we'll go to the next slide. Positive is our attendance matters. We know that when kids come to school, they learn at school. So we are really trying to encourage that. Our rate on GPS was 72.9%. That's the blue line. We're above the state average there. The state wants us to get to 94% of attendance for every student. That's what they're looking for. Okay. And so we talk about coming to school, learning at school. Mrs. Flater sent preventative letters to students who had a high rate of absenteeism before school to kind of prepare them, that the parents that were watching were doing follow-up. She's sending a lot of letters, making phone calls when we see that students are missing a lot of school. If we see students coming in tardy a lot because they overslept, a lot of times that's no fault of their own, but we start taking away those core classes in the morning in the first period and putting them with electives. Seems like PE is a motivator to come to school sometimes. So we do some creative scheduling, and then quarterly celebrations. The first quarter, 7th grade won with the bubble party, and spoiler alert, 8th grade is gonna win, right? 8th grade wins with the dance party on Friday, so for second quarter. Okay, so these are our iLearn results, and we love a lot of color. Red is not good in these charts. Blue is above proficiency in these areas. Green is at, and yellow is approaching. So what we strive to do is reduce the red that we have and move them up the road. We would love for them to be at higher percentages of that yellow going into the green for sure, and reduce the red. So we can go on to the next slides here, and I'll break down each category by grade level. Math assessment results in May of last year. In 8th grade, we were 33% proficient. That means we're at level, and then the state, though, is 35% proficient on those standards. So obviously no one is getting 100% proficient, but we are behind the state by just a couple percentage rates. 7th grade, 26% proficient compared to the 7th grade, or to the state, which was 36 proficient. And then 6th grade, we were 20% proficient compared to the state of 40% proficient. So when we come to the next slide, we'll see what happens longitudinal data from when they start in 6th graders, what we get, and then how we get to 8th, what happens when they're there for 3 years. So 6th graders as a whole they'll either kind of have a little dip below, or they'll stay the same. 6th grade is tough. These math standards are a little bit more difficult. There's less review, there's new concepts. So we always, like most schools, will see this. This isn't that 6th grade is harder. Plus they're learning they're navigating a new situation, new school, new changes. So we can anticipate that they're not gonna skyrocket in 6th grade. But you'll see, okay, so these were 6th graders. So they started testing 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th. They go down a little bit from 5th grade. But when they get 7th grade, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, those 7th graders went up in 7th grade. And then when you get to 8th grade, you can see that we got really close to the same state proficiency but at that third year that they were in, they had a lot more growth. Go on to ELA. ELA in 8th grade, we have 35% proficient at MMS, and then compared to 43% proficient. 7th grade, 27% compared to 38%, and then 6th grade, 23% compared to 41%. Again, you're going to see the same type of trend after they've been with us for 3 years, where they continue to grow and get closer to that state proficiency. But as I tell my teachers, and as we all accept, is if other schools are getting to be 43% proficient, then why can't we? So that's what the mentality that we're keeping. You want to go the other way? And one more.
There you go.
2 more, yeah. There you go. And these were our science results. As 6th grade takes science, it's the 1 year that they take science. They were 24% proficient last year compared to the state average of 43%. I'll say this about science too. All of those tests, like Mrs. York were talking about, this requires a lot of reading. So if they're low in reading on language arts, they're going to be low in science and probably math too, just because they have to read that. Keep going. The other measurement that they look at on our data for as a school, as a picture of our school, is our advanced coursework. There's a big push for students to be career ready in the state. That's one of the indicators that they're going to be looking at, and we're doing a fantastic job with this, which means that we have 99.1%, I don't know where the 0.1% student comes from, but that are getting advanced courses for high school. They're earning high school credits. So compared to the state average, I think we're over there is like 48% for a middle school. So that's positive. You go on to the next slide.
How are we doing that though? If like our proficiency numbers aren't real good, right? I mean, you
So
wouldn't think
we're
it'd be, or is it like gym classes and things like that that are counting towards that?
We are giving them high school credits to get those out of the way. So
Yeah.
we're taking those in the middle school. We
Okay.
we offer Preparing for College and Careers. That's a semester course that every 8th grader gets, and you see some pictures of them doing going to some jobs, Job Spark and Area 31. We're doing high school PE. Every 8th grader gets that.
Right.
So that takes it off. Now every 8th grader gets high school health. Right there, they've got 3 credits because those are all semesters.
And that factors into the 99%.
Yes, and for the graduation pathways, those are required courses. They have no choice but to take those and pass those before they can graduate high school. Some students are taking Algebra 1. Other students, for their elective, they can earn credits in band, choir, concert choir, high school art, or intro to agriculture. So you can leave the middle school with at least 5 credits, possibly, before you go into and get those out of the way. So we also earn CTE money for Preparing for College and Careers, so that's a positive thing. Our number 1 goal is to improve student outcomes as a whole. So we're holding high expectations. A cohesive expectations and belief that we can improve results has been our focus this year. Accountability, as student population, we're talking about no more missing assignments, improve your organizational skills. We're having data chats and improving on our parent involvement. We're increasing engagement with attendance, classroom instruction, and intervention participation, and understand and monitor those checkpoints like Mrs. York was talking about. We don't want any May surprises. So, obviously, eye-opening data. Our Family and Community Council is just a group of parents who it's open to anybody. Anybody can come every 3rd Wednesday. And we go over that data with all of our families so that they know. The state has offered a family portal that any student, their family can get on there and see how they're doing on their iLearn checkpoints and their state. And the data chats that we're doing with all of our homeroom teachers, they met with our students and made our students accountable of what they're doing. And that kids didn't know. Kids didn't know they were performing below proficiency. It was pretty eye-opening. Mrs. Falater and I, this alarm is not gonna stop. And now I'm calling 911. Don't do that. Okay, turn it off. We had students come to us and like in tears, like, I didn't know I was struggling. I didn't know this. What can I do to improve? So we've seen some improvement, I think. Proof will be when they test. But making them aware of what they need to work on. Engagement, all students are required to engage in Beable and Alex are two interventions that I'll talk about here in a second. And we're just holding them accountable for that. Because we don't have interventionists and we don't have intervention programs outside of this, we need everybody in the whole school to participate in this. So complacency can be a problem in middle school or an apathy and not really caring. So we're really being diligent about making sure that they're engaged in that. You can go to the next slide. Our multi-tiered system of support team meets bi-weekly to monitor attendance, grades. They talk about students of concern. We provide strategies, and then we put those out to the teacher teams. We meet with the teacher teams every week before school, and so each grade level, we have limited time. They come in at 7:20. We got to be out there for supervision. We might have 20 minutes to do that, but we're trying. The less supervision we have in the hallways, though, we're going to have to limit that more. Department teams are meeting monthly to discuss teaching strategies. They're looking over the standards, making sure that they're meeting those, preparing for the checkpoints, and aligning those. They've also been attending conferences, and then, like Mrs. York said, the CIESC professional development is coming, and that will be helpful as well. And then we also encourage peer-to-peer observations, teachers going into other teachers' classrooms to see what's working in your classroom compared to my classroom, to just do some internal professional development. There is new accountability measures that are coming. Whether we like it or not, they're going to be looking at our scores. And at this point, I don't like what I'm seeing when we look at those iLearn scores, but it is what it is. So all we can do is improve. We get scores if students are 94% in attendance. We get points if they have a passing score in science or on the social studies in 5th grade. Growth, if they adopt all this, they'll be looking at growth, or they may be looking at either your passing, you get points for passing, or if you get points for approaching. I don't know what I'd rather, and I don't know, there's more to come on that from the state. Completing 2 high school credits, that's why that matters, of advanced coursework. We're already doing that for 8th grade, but they're looking for scores in 7th grade. So that means we might need to adjust our scheduling so 7th graders get high school credit for PE so that we can earn some points there. So we have to get creative with how we can do that to improve our accountability. You can go on to the next one. So our checkpoint scores as of now, just wanted to show you kind of where we're standing. Not all of our classes have taken the checkpoint 2, checkpoint 1. You can see when you go up to the right on the table, 6th grade took the first checkpoint, 10% proficient. Now they ended the year, last year was 17% proficient. Now, that's only measuring certain standards, and of which that teacher said, I haven't even covered all those standards yet when we took it. So, but she sure didn't like that number. And the state was 31%. Now, we could take it again. We can take it again all the way through May. But every time we take a test like that, it takes up a class period. Or it might take 2 class periods. So every time, that's more testing, that's less instruction. So we're just learning how to balance that and learning how to motivate students to do better on these, to care. Because I don't know that they really care a whole lot about this. If you think back to your teenage self, you might not either. So you can see that some of the scores, the math is at the top, ELA is at the bottom. But again, we haven't taken all of our checkpoints, and we're using that data to inform instruction and review what needs to be reviewed. And then at the meanwhile, we're still trying to get the next group of standards for the next checkpoint. So that second checkpoint that window ends February 6th. We've got 2 classes that are still ELA in 7th and math in 6th. They had more standards they wanted to cover. They wanted more time. So I've given the teachers some autonomy in figuring that out.
So grade 1, 2, and 3, where it says like 7th grade 1, grade 2, grade 3.
So
that's the 2 checkpoints, right?
That's 7th grade first checkpoint, 7th grade second checkpoint.
So
yeah,
like
1,
in
2,
math,
3.
we went backwards between the 2 checkpoints. Does that mean anything? Right, I mean, we went from 34 to 30.
Different standards.
Difference.
Different standards. So we can't compare
You can't do that, what I'm trying to do.
each checkpoint, yeah.
Okay,
But on those particular standards,
got it.
we were a little lower.
So, yeah, the 3 tests are different. Okay, got it.
Is this, so like, the 6th grade, this is what I'm looking at, the 10%. Is that a curriculum issue though? I mean, is our curriculum, like for elementary, is it aligning with what they need to have for middle school, or is there a gap?
So we
Are we
are
so-
we are finally aligned. A couple years ago, we started where we were aligned it's K through 8 now, right? K through 8 with Reveal Math with McGraw-Hill. So we're teaching the same line of curriculum, so that should help.
So those 6th graders have been in it.
Yeah,
And the whole curriculum is designed for the tests.
well, kind of and kind of not. So it doesn't go in the right order.
Yeah.
So what our new 6th grade teacher was trying to cover in the first checkpoint was not the first unit of the 6th grade book. And so she's had to like figure out, okay, what curriculum am I teaching to cover these standards? Well, what if they didn't have that part in the curriculum?
So we're basically teaching for a test,
Yes,
of
absolutely.
teaching
But with the
for-
test is for the standards.
which I think's what Mr. Kent, was getting at earlier as far as are we in panic mode going, oh my gosh, let's just focus on this, try to get the numbers up. And they're not learning the basics. I don't know.
Well, I hear a lot in 6th grade is they don't have number sense. And that's what we're seeing on data, which is why Mr. Flynn and the elementary working on skip counting, that's great news. I mean, that's a good start. But yeah, I think I'm grateful for the math audit that's coming so that maybe we can pinpoint some other holes. But we know number sense, so they come in, and what I hear from the teachers is they don't know how to do any of this. I can't move forward because they don't know. And a lot of the 6th grade concepts are new terminology, like variables, integers, and that becomes common language. And they haven't been doing that in 4th and 5th grade. So whereas 7th grade is more review, and you're building on what they were taught in 6th grade. So there's a lot of new stuff in 6th grade.
Then you put that with a 72% rate of getting to school. I mean, is that what I'm hearing? So like, they're like, only 75% of our kids are at school a day?
Those students the average is 72%, that they're there 72% of the time. But that's better than
So out of
the
100,
state.
180 school days, they're making it 72% of those days, on average.
There's a lot of vacations
That's a
happening.
That's a parent problem there.
It's
And
exactly.
if
You have
you can't get them to
parents-
school, you can't teach them.
You have
If I
parents
don't bring
who
my
say-
kids to school, that's shame on me. You guys cannot teach my kid if I don't bring my kid to school.
Well, you have parents that are middle school parents who say, middle school doesn't count, it's only when they get to high school.
That can be an argument.
Well,
It all counts.
Some of the ones that I've tutored, that was the comment from the parent. Well, it's really not that big a deal because, their graduation doesn't count until they're freshmen, except you have 7th and 8th graders who are taking high school credit. I mean, I'm not, it's not a great percentage, but onto the attendance, besides the letters that are being sent out and things like that, is there anything else that we can do to try to bump that number up? Because, I mean, that's a big jump from there to 94%.
I think we are limited in Morgan County. We don't have a very good juvenile system where we are following up with attendance anywhere else. So after so many absences, we are required to report it to the Department of Child Services. We can report it to the prosecutor, and it stays there.
Yeah.
There's no really follow-up for truancy So we're limited, we don't have a truancy officer in our district, and Katie can
And
speak more to that.
on that, when you make a DCS report, it's 10 unexcused days. So now the issue is the state has said that pre-planned vacations can be excused. There's all kinds of different codes now that can be put in that can cause it to be excused. So I'm not saying, I'm not opposed to vacations being taken in the middle of the year, because my husband has a job where he doesn't get 2 months off in the summer, so I know that there are families that have to do that. But that's where it's kind of skews our average. So,
Yeah, the 10-day is a big deal. That's 10 days unexcused or truant. So anything basically that, like at the elementary, does not have a doctor's note or some kind of written documentation from a provider, at the elementary, that is unexcused. So those numbers escalate pretty quickly, and so at 10, so like at the elementary, they are set up, they will get a 6-day notification, an 8-day, and a 10-day notification. And then once they cross over that 10-day, then it kind of rolls into what the state would call now truancy prevention measures, where we can, for example, this year, my students that have crossed that 10-day threshold, then I will have Mrs. Gilberson put a phone call into the parent. Sometimes they won't respond to me, but they may respond to her. And then the second data point that we get dinged at is that 18-day, and that is 18 days for any reason. So that could be excused or unexcused. That 18-day is when I move, and if that's somewhere in that, I may have made a DCS report and tracked that. But that 18-day is when I will work with parents to put them on an attendance contract. And that will kind of motivate them that at that point they know maybe a DCS report has been made, and then that contract will follow them for the remainder of the year. So, but there's really 2 data points, the 10-day unexcused and the 18-day for any reason.
So
And
we
that
need a new
18-day
we need a new prosecutor in town. I
They
think we have an
don't have
election
enough
coming
time
up.
either.
It stops at DCS, and what DCS will do, they will go out and they will make contact with the family. But one of the questions, and I'm sure Katie can attest to this as well, when we file a DCS for attendance, they will ask us, what are their grades? Well, our teachers do a phenomenal job keeping our students kind of caught up. And so oftentimes their grades may reflect some average performance. So what I've started doing at the elementary, when I call that in, I will pull this I-Learn data. So if they are below proficiency, I have that data when I make that call. So I'm not just giving grade data, because those fluctuate every day.
Mhm.
But the state testing and our checkpoints will give us a more accurate picture of really how far below grade level that student is. And they have kind of assigned it. They'll either send it for assessment or they'll screen it out. And so that data really helps us in terms of DCS getting involved with the family. But most of the time, they will just screen it out or make contact.
the majority of the time they'll screen it out. There are times when I've made attendance calls to DCS in regards to students who have missed so many days, and a lot of it because of mental health issues. If you say that there's a mental health concern, they'll go and they'll send for assessment, and they'll work with the family to try and help provide those services. But the other thing that I've learned with the prosecutor, if I collect all of the data and all of the information, all of the letters, all of the parent communication, if I present the information to her so that she doesn't have to do a whole lot of, she can just send the work, this is being put on you, then she has there's more attendance for her to follow through. But to go back to, there's not a whole lot that Morgan County has to offer. I know that in surrounding areas like Hendricks County, and like further north, they have services organizations where they get buddies together and they meet with them and talk with them about the importance of it. It's like a family alliance thing. I can't think of what it is in Hendricks County, because I've reached out to the Plainfield schools to ask what they do. And they're like, oh, we refer them to this organization, and this organization does it for us. Oh, I don't have that
We don't have
that.
organization. It's just me.
So what does Mooresville or Martinsville, the other Morgan County schools, what do they do? Or is their attendance the same way?
In Martinsville, I assume they do. They did in the past. They actually had a homeschool advisor, and that is what she did in both Martinsville, and I think Mooresville had one as well for many years. They actually had one of their social workers who sort of took those, once they reached that 10-day point, then that person went out and did a home visit. And they engaged with the parents. They would go pick them up and do sort of some of those things that we can't do now. You know, we will do well checks or things like that. If we have a student that doesn't show, our officers will go out and do well checks. Kelly Gilberson will go out. So that's something that some other districts have done, because they do have one person identified to sort of track those families and go out and make contact with them and try to build that relationship a little bit further.
I noticed that one slide, the attendance slide, if you went back like 5 years, we were like 85%, kind of up, and then it dropped way down, and then it went back up. Wonder why did it not go back up to just what it was before? What? I mean, did parents
for
just be like, yeah,
one,
I don't care if you gotta go?
I
Yeah, like a
think
normal.
it became less of a priority. If you have a cold, you stay home instead of,
Yeah.
what we used to do, you know, which may be good or bad. I mean,
I sent them to school so I could go to work.
yeah.
So
So,
my first year was 22, 23, I can't remember. That 8th grade class had a significant amount of students that would miss. And the parents would call and say, we're taking a mental health day, they're not in a good place, we're just gonna do online learning today. And that was when everybody had Chromebooks and all of the assignments were put on the Chromebooks. And that just seemed to be the norm because of what had happened with COVID before. Whereas now we're trying to backtrack.
So should we do away with the Chromebooks, just so it's not an option?
well, let's get to that.
Quick
Great segue. Not yet though. Math interventions, because for our intervention piece, we have to have Chromebooks, because our teachers use our win time. They are helping students catch up on their work, and those who are in the classroom are working on, some days are dedicated to ALEX, which is goes along with our math curriculum, which is a math intervention piece. As far as math goes, those lessons are based on their individualized instruction. They take a diagnostic, they see how well they're doing. And then also IXL is another intervention piece that we have that's provided to students with special ed support. You can go to the next one. This is an example. Kids see their pie and they're trying to get all their skills. They're learning their lessons and they're trying to get to proficiency. As a school right now, when I pulled this for November, at the end of November was the last data piece I had, was 46% on those that they had mastered. I don't know how that'll translate to iLearn, but we're making growth. We're halfway through the year and we're at 46% that the kids are doing that. 8th grade has been limited in their participation because they've been working on preparing for college and careers. So in the second semester, they will be dedicating more time to ALEX. So we should see those numbers grow. As far as ELA, we have Beable, which merges that college career exploration and literacy. Those lessons, I've talked about that in the past, they're based on their Lexile, which is their reading level, but it's also paired with their career interests. So and their interest surveys. So the lessons that are provided are more interesting to students, and then they understand their why. What are you going to do the Monday after you graduate from high school? We need to be starting to have those conversations in elementary all the way through middle school and high school, so that they just kind of think there's a world outside of this to give them reason for learning. So many middle school students like, I don't know why I'm even learning this. I'm never going to use this later. Actually, you might. So they're learning what type of Lexile they need for certain careers and then taking those lessons to get better. Rewards is a reading intervention for our Tier 3 students. that are in resource classes for student support. Again, IXL also covers reading standards as well. But those are only, IXL is only available to those with individual education plans. Okay. Our current viewable data, which is also showing, reflecting good things, is that the expected growth is the light purple. And we're seeing that I get reports from Beable all the time. Today I got another one like, wow, your school is going above and beyond. You're you're exceeding what they thought the growth would be at this time in the year. Our current Lexiles, our starting Lexiles, we're in the light blue, and we are making growth. We're moving that dark blue line, and so that's what we like to see, is that we're growing and that we're improving. Again, 8th grade has not been as engaged in this, but they will be this semester.
Hey Brandy, and then to piggyback off of this, when I know Brandy talked about the data chats that they were having, this has been a very interesting piece to add with their iLearn, because some of them, their Beable Lexiles were significantly higher than what their iLearn Lexiles were, and it was good for the teachers to have that conversation of what's going on here. Why did you take this seriously, but you didn't take this one seriously? So it's kind of been great. It's been a great tool for the teachers to use with the students. Like, okay, I see how all of this goes together and how this works, and I need to put all of my effort into both of these tests at the same time.
They're measured monthly. So every 15th we have a Beable Power Up Challenge. So once they have 2 months of data, then we can see the growth. So we like the program. The students like it, which having student buy-in is huge for middle school. So you can go on to the next one. All right, but we do have some challenges, and I've mentioned these to some extent. Disengagement. A shocking number of teens are disengaged from school, simultaneously bored and overwhelmed. And so that, there's a couple quotes there. So we have to be very proactive in understanding what adolescent development looks like. We also have a problem. This isn't just a Monrovia, none of this is a Monrovia problem. This is just everybody's problem. Brain saturation. And I'm just gonna read the quote from Anxious Generation. Neurons that fire together, wire together. If a child spends their formative years on social media or screens, those repeated activations cause lasting structural changes in the brain, shaping how they pay attention, think, and learn. We are seeing that day after day. So when students, that's K through 12 and beyond, everyone is distracted. And so whether it's Chromebook or cell phone, so we've implemented some things to help with that. To help with the engagement, we're providing more student choice and voice, trying to hear them out. We're eliminating technology distractions as much as possible. Our teachers unanimously said we do not want Chromebooks, as little as possible. We were having a tremendous amount of damage happening to Chromebooks, kids coming to school with them not charged, or they were damaged, and then they would have to go to tech to be repaired, and then they'd get them back, and it was just a disruption. So they're doing more paper pencil because research has proven that paper pencil is more effective, but they have to learn. We live in a world of technology, rich things. They have to learn how to use it, and they have to test on it. So they do need to be skilled at scrolling, reading, taking text. So they're getting plenty of practice with that. But our 6th graders are no longer carrying them around, and 7th graders are no longer carrying them around. There are Chromebook carts in every classroom. 8th graders still have them because they do go to high school for classes, and we frankly just did not have enough Chromebooks to go around for that to happen. We're having high expectations. As a staff, we said, listen, we can't have this culture of missing assignments, which would be, I didn't turn it in, I'll get to it. Teachers are being kind. They still take the assignments. There's no deadline. There's no pressure to get it done. That means they're not applying what they've been learning in the classroom, and as a result, I just don't think that was proving to be effective. So we just trying to get away from that, talking about you can't have missing assignments. Through the data chats like we talked about. We also talked about the fact that as a whole, that students don't have the executive function of figuring out how to organize their things. Their things are everywhere. And they're all over the floor. And now that we're using paper more, they need to be more organized with where they keep their paper so they don't lose it, because it's not all on their Chromebook. So as the 6th grade team and 7th grade team are especially diligent in saying, take your paper, put it in your red folder. And as a school, we all have colored folders for different subjects, and we're trying to be really diligent in making sure every student has a folder and a binder to stay organized. And just involving community and families more with understanding the challenges that we're dealing with. We talk about these, we educate parents about disengagement and brain saturation to help bring awareness to that. And then just those conversations and connections as to why we're here and what we're learning.
Mrs. Hyatt, I saw the author of The Anxious Generation on TV, bought the book. There's a lot in there that, you know, technical, but it's a very good read. And if we could get people to
Yes.
to buy into it.
Highly recommend that, or just listening to it. The Disengaged Teen is another, if you're interested in teen development. Go on to the next one. Other challenges we have, staff. You know, we always have turnover. That's normal in the culture of education right now. But we've also had reduction of staff, less instructional assistants, less teachers positions in the middle school. We have scheduling constraints. We depend on the high school for teachers, because if we didn't, we wouldn't have a place for the kids to go. So it's, we can't do a whole lot unless the high school goes along, which is, they're just trying to do their business as the high school. So, but if this, as far as doing change in schedule so that maybe we wanted to do a double math block or a double reading block, we can't really do that because as it stands now, because we have to depend on the high school to float these teachers around. So we're just very limited as far as the intervention, the reason staff reduction of interventionists. There's 2 aides that might be available during win time if they're not covering a class for the whole building, because the other ones have to eat lunch. So I have 4 to work with that are special. They're really for special education students. So, but we can try to help with some intervention pieces. But otherwise, it's the teachers that are supervising that Beable and Alex piece, and then working with kids one-on-one and helping them get caught up on something, maybe if they needed some extra tutoring in math or reading. So time. And the biggest thing that we face in the middle school too is just the need for mental health support for students. We don't have a guidance counselor on staff, and we don't have adult and child therapists have not been consistent in being there. They've just had a lot of turnover, so we don't really have that piece. So it's Mrs. Flater and I that are the mental health counselors on the side, or a school nurse, or that type, or the teachers. There's just really not that. I mean, we can always call Joni and Gretchen in the high school, but we are extremely limited for a middle school not having those pieces, because mental health is a huge deal in the middle school. Solutions, though, we're trying with some morale boosters and supportive presence, always being available for our staff. We mentor the new staff and the ongoing professional development. We try to be flexible and creative. And we also implemented a new science of reading curriculum, and we hope that that is helpful. It aligns 6 through 12. So I think I'm hearing great things from the English teachers, but they're learning their curriculum. They got that in September. And then that professional development we've already talked about. Any questions about that?
You said the therapists, we do have that position, they're not here, we don't have that position.
Adult and Child does push into our school and provides therapy for those that have went through their intake, like as an outside agency, they can.
Is that a county?
No, it's just an outside company.
Do we pay for them to be here?
No.
We get, it's provided through the Kendrick Foundation through a grant from the Community Foundation.
But we don't hire them, or
Right.
They're just they visit our school.
Is there any
and meet
opportunity
with
of
their people.
increasing the hours that they're here? I don't know.
Not really, because it's all paid through their grant, so they have a limited amount of funds they can provide those for us.
And those would be students on Medicaid are the ones that they see. If they aren't on Medicaid, they have to be grant funded, and right now we have a grant wait list. They can't take more. They're here a couple days a week. We're continuously, I can't do a presentation without talking about us finding our stride. So we're continuing to encourage our students to be supportive, tenacious, responsible, inquisitive, disciplined, and exceptional. And they lead to growth, and we believe that. Shelley, you can go to the next slide. So as part of that, setting the stage for the next semester, and I told them all, I said, you're all straight A students, but we're gonna set some stride goals and talk about what we're gonna work on. And so Friday, every student made a stride goal and then posted it on the board. It's fun to look close at some of those and see that the students care. They really do want to grow, and set those resolutions. So, yeah, stop by and see them, but that's it. Any other questions about middle school?
I do want to say thank you to the administrators for these presentations, but also you heard them talk about that we're going to partner with CISC to get some professional development for our teachers. I got CISC involved because I knew they could provide that type of stuff, but we sat down with them as administrative team and just had to be open and honest about what we were seeing with the data and that sort of thing, and then just talk through. They helped us kind of figure out maybe what we needed, so that's going to be very exciting to see kind of what they can bring. Some stuff's going to start this year, but the bulk of it's going to start next year, so looking forward to seeing what they can help us do there. So thank you for your presentations.
That was a very, very informative session, guys.
Yeah.
I mean, thanks. Item number 3 is going to be public comments. And we did not have anybody sign up for the public comments. So now we'll go to item number 4, reorganization of the board. So with that, we will temporarily adjourn our current meeting.
Actually, before
No.
you have to reorganize the board first.
Oh, we go, okay.
Yep.
Let's reorganize the board then.
I'd make a motion that Mr. Sears become president, Mr. Blundell become vice president, and Mr. Kizzy become secretary.
Second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? It passes 5-0. Okay. Now we'll adjourn. At 7:56. And then we'll start our finance meeting at 7:56.
Are you guys gonna switch at this point? So is Brock gonna take over, or?
Yeah.
That's fine. You can.
Yeah, it's up to you.
Yeah, you'd be. Nobody's throwing nothing. So I guess we'll go on to item number 5, which we just started the, temporary board meeting? So
Yep, Board of
annual Board
Finance.
of Finance meeting?
Yep. So you're gonna have to do the same thing you kinda just did. You have to elect your officers for the Board of Finance.
I'd make a motion that the officers remain the same as the board, as Mr. Sears is president, Mr. Blundell is vice president, and Mr. Kizzy is secretary.
Second.
Have any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right, we'll move on to 5C, investment report
Yep.
and designated.
Yep. So every January, part of the Board of Finance meeting is we have to do a financial report that covers certain things that the state wants us to cover. So we'll do that now, and Shelley's gonna pull that up for us. There we go. First, go ahead, yeah, go to that. So right there is just our board policy that states that we can invest money to make interest. So just so everybody knows that that's a pretty common thing for schools to do. It's not very wise really to not do it because it's just money you're giving away. And you'll see here in a little bit how much interest we actually make on all of our investments. So that's just the board policy there. Next. Investment income report. We have a few different funds that we either invest or just accounts. That top account there, I believe that's just our checking account, correct? Right.
Yes,
Yep, so Our average balance in checking is a little over 5 million. Then we have our GEO bond account. That's our middle one there. Well, let me go back up. Sorry, to the checking. Checking, we earned about 171,000 in interest this year. That next one I just talked about, the GEO bond account. That's that middle account. Interest this year, we earned almost 90,000. Our average balance in there has been 4 million, about 4.1 million. And that's the GEO bonds that we've been doing for years here. And basically that's just helping to supplement operations, buy buses, do different maintenance projects we need to do around our schools. And then that last one there you see, we do have a CD. So we have 3 million in a CD, and that has earned us a little over $47,000 in interest this year. So total interest earned $308,000, a little over.
And that's just the corporation side.
Yep. Next. This just shows kind of the different accounts we have at Citizens Bank. Checking accounts, there's some extracurricular accounts, things like that. Really pretty self-explanatory, just everything we have at, pretty much all of our banking is done at Citizens Bank. So anything else you want to highlight there? Okay. So this is the part that the state kind of mandates we do. The DUAB Fiscal Indicator Report. DUAB stands for Distressed Unit, I can't remember what the A and D stand for. Appeals Board, thank you. Yeah, Distressed Unit Appeals Board. Basically, that's part of the government that you don't want to deal with too much. If you're a distressed unit, you're basically, your finances aren't in real good order. In the past couple years, 5 years or so, maybe even up to 10 years, you've seen schools like Gary that was completely taken over by the state because of their finances. And then Muncie Central, that school corporation was taken over because of some, that was some malfeasance going on there with some GEO bonds and stuff. They were spending GEO bonds in ways they shouldn't. So they got taken over for that too. So anyway, if you go to that website that's listed there, it gives you an idea of the indicators that are used, that we're kind of supposed to be reporting on. And actually, each school corporation has a report there that you can look at. It's not always real up to date. A lot of times it's like 2 years behind. So I don't know.
I looked and 24 is there.
24 is there? Okay. Okay, next. This is the fund report that we give the board every month, and we actually have it sitting out here every month too for people to pick up. Just to go over some things here, I'm going to try to keep this as short and sweet as possible because this is a long meeting. As you see out there to the side, we said we need to get the education fund to a positive net income, need to increase cash reserves. A few things I'll point out here. We started January 1 of 2025 in the education fund with a cash balance of $1,950,095. We ended 25, so just here at the end of December, with a cash balance of $1,178,291. So that tells you right there we are that's between $750,000 and $800,000 we spent into cash yet again. So if you look at it from like almost a personal banking situation, if you have a savings account and you're constantly digging into your savings account, that's kind of what we've done here. We're digging into our cash balance. And then if you look clear back to January 1st of 24, our cash balance was 2.3 million. So basically what I'm telling you here is this is not sustainable. We can't keep spending like we are, or we will be one of those schools that the DUAB is talking to. So Debt service is debt service. We have to, we have funds in there because we have to be able to pay our debt. So that's not an issue there. We're good there. Operations is another one we're keeping an eye on. If I go over the same numbers there, January 1st of 25, we started with a cash balance of $379,148. We ended 25 with 433,900. So actually ended better than we thought we were, but you also have to remember we were supplementing operations with bond money. If we weren't doing that, it'd be a much different story.
Meaning through bus purchases and things like that? Is that
Not just that.
Like
Even
operating type expenses?
yeah, like repairs we needed to do comes out of bond funds. We didn't touch operations. So if we didn't have those bond funds right now, operations would be a much different story. Like, number one, we wouldn't be getting certain things done.
Yeah, we paid a lot of just repairs that came up out of bond money.
Above and beyond, just like the light replacement,
Correct.
the speakers and.
Correct.
Right,
When this was,
exactly.
I mean, I'm just trying to think of a couple of examples. What were some of the items that
Oh,
came up?
that
I'm
we-
sorry. Not to put you
No,
on
you're
the
fine, you're
spot.
fine, yeah.
Thermal
Fir-
replacements.
yeah.
Water heater. that
Water
kind of
heater.
stuff.
Yeah, all that stuff, yeah.
Basically, if it came up, if it was a repair that wasn't planned for, it came out of bonds. And there was plenty of them. Yep. What else there?
That's it. Yeah.
Okay. Next one is just a chart. Actually, we sent this out to staff in one of my Bulldog bulletins that I'm sending out now. It just gives kind of a historical picture of where our cash balances have been in each of our major funds over the years, going back to 19. And you just see it's declining, unfortunately. Go ahead. So we actually just received our 1782 form here recently, which that comes from the DLGF. So we turn in our budget to the DLGF. They look over it. They send it back to us and say, here's what we are seeing that you sent to us. Sometimes they've cut the budget depending on our cash balance and that sort of thing. But then we have 10 days to tell them any changes we want to make, or if we see that, hey, you made a mistake here or whatever. So this is what our 26 approved budget looks like after we discussed with them what we wanted them to do. So for rainy day, we've just basically said that we think we're only going to have to spend $500,000 if any. You see, in 25, we only spent $485 out of rainy day. But you always want to put an appropriation there in case you need to spend that. And you can always ask for an additional appropriation if you need to spend more of that, as long as you have the cash to do it. And then you see what we have been approved to spend in debt service and education and operations based on then what we expended in 25. And as you see, operations there is not pretty, because we're approved to spend 4.3, and we actually spent 4.9 in 25. So we've got some stuff to figure out there. Go ahead.
Now, does that go back to the rainy day being the 500? Can you add it? I mean, is that what that's there for? To help the operations, or?
You can.
Whatever.
Yeah, you can spend rainy day in just about any way you want to, but
You can only do it short term though.
Yeah.
You can bleed it down. You'd have to
Yep.
structurally make some spend changes, I would think.
Yep. Let me see, I'm out of order here. Yep, there we go. So education cash flow projections, Mariah worked on kind of what we think our cash flow looks like in 26. There you see our starting cash. We projected out what we think our revenue will be, projected expenses and transfers, and if you add all that up, that's not a healthy ending balance at the end of 26, if that's the way it's gonna go, which obviously it cannot. So we have to figure out how we're gonna spend less in education coming up here.
Does that reflect the lower head count?
Yes.
Radiums, okay.
Yep.
But it reflects the current one, so if we lose even more students, I understand our senior class is a big class, or kindergarten classes that make that up, that number's gonna go down.
Operations, same chart there. Like I said, we were a little bit surprised, in a good way, that operations didn't look as bad as it did. But once again, like I said, we were spending bond money to supplant there, and that bond money might not always be there. So projected to be in the positive, but we still need to figure out how we can start building back up our cash reserves, which means the only way to do that is you spend less.
And we have had to ask for, additional appropriations the last 2 years. So given the fact that we've only been approved, you know, what we normally spend is about $700,000 more than that. We need a little bit of cash in this fund, so we can go to the DLGF and say, hey, we need more appropriations. So we're gonna need that cash that's sitting there, is what I'm saying.
Yep. And then the 26 financial outlook, basically what I've said there, we need to decrease spending in both education and operations to get our cash reserves back up. When we've worked with Chad Blacklock at Stiefel, our goal is always to have a 20% cash reserves and expenditures from the education fund and 25% in the operations fund. As you see, we're not even anywhere near that. We're 8.6 and 8.7% respectively. So wish I had better news, but I do not on that end.
Probably not for tonight, just because of the
Yep.
timing, but I would like some additional discussion on this. I know I kind of sent the email and asked if we could get some multi-year look and
Yep.
kind of start to draw up some bridges as far as, you know, what's really driving that. I mean, there's gotta be some big expensive categories, you know. I know we did some raises and things like that, but, you know, I know when we talked about those, it was never to this extent, right? I mean, like, we never expected, you know, millions of dollars of things, so I'd be interested in as we kind of dig into that a little
Yep,
more.
we've already talked about this morning. We're gonna
Yeah.
start putting some stuff together.
Yeah, not tonight, but maybe in, you know, in the
And
next meeting.
there
or
is a little
something.
bit more information in your packets,
Okay.
that just compared 25 to 24.
Yeah. And I know there's a lot of moving pieces, but I mean, those are big numbers.
Yes.
And it's accelerating, right? I mean, if you looked at the education fund last year, we overspent by 400,000. 2025, it was 700. And I would also think the operations fund doesn't reflect all the savings we did. I mean, we made cuts late in the year, right? So those aren't all baked in either, so there'll be a little bit of the offset on there.
Yep.
So, okay.
Yep.
Yeah, thanks.
You're welcome. Let's see. Is that all we need to do for the Board of Finance meeting? I think so. I think that's it.
So we gotta vote on item C and item D. You went over both of them, right? But over to the right said motion. Do we have to vote on those?
Hold on, let me look.
I guess the other solution too is to increase revenues, right?
Yeah.
That's the other, which I know we've got some options that we're kind of
Yep.
considering there as well.
So see, yeah, we are designating, that's where we still designate that we're using Citizens Bank. So yeah, we do need a motion and a vote on continuing to use Citizens Bank as our depository.
That would be for item C.
Yes.
Okay.
I move to appoint Citizens Bank as our depository.
I'll second.
Got a motion made by Mr. Kennedy, seconded by Mr. Kazee to use to continue using Citizens Bank. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Those opposed? Passes 5-0. 5D, adjournment for finance meeting. Take a motion for that.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Blundell, seconded by who?
Motion made by Mr. Elliott.
Yeah, it was Mr. Elliott, I seconded.
Oh.
Brock heard me first down here.
Yeah.
Hearing the first thing to go.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Passes 5-0, so at 7 or 8:12. And then at 8:12, we'll restart the original one.
Yep.
so now we are ready for item number 6, appointment of corporate treasurer.
Yep, so I'm gonna make a recommendation that we appoint Mariah Crane as corporation treasurer.
We have a motion for that.
I'll make a motion.
Motion by Mr. Blondell. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Mr. Kazee. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Passes 5-0. Item 7, appointment of deputy treasurer.
Yep, I recommend that Jessica Elliott be deputy treasurer.
Move to approve.
Second.
Approved by Mr. Kennedy, seconded by Mr. Elliott. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion passes 5-0. Item number 8, appointment of board attorney.
Yep, there you have your proposal from our current board attorney to continue to be the board attorney, so I will leave that to you guys to make that motion.
Up
And
to it for another year, eh?
Yep.
Sure.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Motion made by Mr. Kazee. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Mr. Blondell. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion passes 5-0. Item number 9, consideration of minutes from the regular board meeting of 12/8/25.
So moved.
Motion made by Mr. Elliott. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Mr. Kennedy. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed? Motion passes 5-0. Item number 10, we do these together or they be separate?
I will make a motion to approve the claims and the payroll together.
Got a motion to approve both of them together by Mr. Kennedy. Do we have a second?
Mr.
Or
Kazee.
Mr. Kazee, sorry.
I'll second.
Seconded by Mr. Blondell. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed?
You're doing
Like
great.
sign, motion passes 5-0. Item 11, consideration of personnel recommendations. We want to do these together or separate?
I prefer separate.
All right.
Yep, I do have some comments too for you.
11A, certified personnel report.
Yep, so on certified, first of all, you see that Ronnie Fott is resigning. I just want to thank her for her years of service to us. She's actually still with us because we're holding her for that. You can hold somebody for 30 days if you need to find a replacement, which we did. There is somebody being recommended tonight to replace her. We are hoping to let her go at the end of the week. We're going to have this person kind of shadow her a little bit, so we hope to release her at the end of the week, which her 30 days isn't up until I think it's sometime late next week. So I think that is it on the certified that I have for you.
I'll move to approve certified.
Mr. Kennedy moves to approve. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Mr. Kazee. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion passes 5-0. 11B, classified personnel report.
Yep, just a couple comments there. You see Brett Everett is still on there. His retirement date is still that date that you see that he's technically on leave of absence, but he is going to retire there on the 29th, as we discussed earlier. Want to talk a little bit about what you see there for Perry McCubbins. As I told the board, and obviously staff knows this now too, is Perry has taken over indoor maintenance now, so he is actually doing, he's our main bus mechanic and helps with various ways in transportation. He's doing our outside maintenance, now he's doing our indoor maintenance. We felt it only fair to increase his pay, but I want to make sure you understand what that means there. He is not getting a lump sum $25,000 payment as it might read there. What is happening is his overall salary is being bumped up by that much as long as he is doing this extra job. So once we figure out whether we're going to end up hiring our own employee or if we end up contracting with a contracting company that we have the RFQ out for, that job will cease for him depending on which of those two things happens. If we get the RFQs in for the janitorial and maintenance, we decide that's not going to work and we're going to hire our own, that job that he's doing right now will probably end before June 30 because we'll have our own person on board. If we end up doing the contracting part, they're probably not going to start till July 1, so it probably would go through June 30 for him there. So basically, it's just kind of prorated over this time until he's no longer doing that job, if that hopefully makes sense the way I explained it.
Could we get that in the minutes too? And I
Yes.
think it's a $25,000 annual stipend. right? I mean, this kind of says it's a stipend from January 1st to June 30th. But it's not a $50,000 a year stipend, right?
Correct.
It's a $25,000 annual stipend.
Correct.
He's gonna do it for 6 months, and it's gonna be prorated on his paychecks.
Correct.
I mean, for every week he does it, he gets the stipend.
Yes.
So we just kinda get that in the minutes. I think
Yep.
if you look at this, it looks a little bit like we're approving $25,000 for 6 months. And I don't want anybody to take that as what we're doing.
Yep.
So, okay, thank you.
Well, it still makes sense the way he's explaining it too.
Which
It's fun,
Barry
it's
didn't
fun.
get, like, whenever he did the outside maintenance, that wasn't, he just took that on, right? Cause he was a bus garage guy, and then when Brett got sick. 'cause he
Correct.
kinda- So he's never been,
That's what I understand,
he's never been
yes.
paid any stipend for any additional.
Yeah, I don't know what they did with his salary back then, if they
Yeah.
increased it a little bit, I
I
really
don't think
don't.
much from what he said.
Yeah,
So he just gets the, basically, you've added that to his salary, and he gets that rate.
as
Well,
long as he's
for-
doing
for
that
as long
job.
as he's in that role.
Yeah,
Correct.
as long as he's doing the job.
As long as he's doing
As
that
long as he's
job,
doing the
yep.
And I know he's not here, but just from me, from what I understand, he's doing a great job.
Yeah,
He
yeah,
was-
he's,
You know, he was handed
He used to do a great job
a
TA.
very, a mess.
Like when he
He's
was,
doing really, he's working.
he was good.
Yes.
He was good when he was growing up.
Yes, there's lots of
He ran
stuff
a tight ship down there
getting done.
at truck stop, so I feel he'd do good here.
Yeah, he's doing an excellent job.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Motion to approve made by Mr. Kazee. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Mr. Blondell. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Passes 5-0. 11C, ECA.
Really nothing there. It's all pretty self-explanatory. You've got some, a club, and then a track coach, and then the rest of that is contract renewals for the fall season sports for 26-27.
We have a motion.
I'll move to approve.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Kennedy, seconded by Mr. Elliott. Any discussion?
The only thing I would say is that renewal, I really appreciate that. That's something I don't think we've done in the past.
Yep.
We've not renewed, and it causes tons of problems.
Yep.
So I think adding a renewal kind of cleans some of that up, so I thank you guys for doing that.
No problem. Yeah, we took
sure.
took some of your suggestions and decided it was a good idea to do that.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? Motion passes 5-0. 11D, substitutes.
Yep, nothing there. Comment wise.
Move to approve.
I'll second.
Motion made by Mr. Elliott, seconded by Mr. Blondell. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Those opposed, like sign. Motion passes 5-0. Item 12, consideration of conflict of interest statements.
Yeah, just for the public, this is something we have to do every January also. If there's any type of conflict of interest that a board member or other employees have, we do it in January. That could be, I'll give you one example. Kevin has done some work for the school corporation, and with him being a board member, that could be viewed as a conflict of interest. But if we do this ahead of time and everybody knows he's on the board, and that's what we have to let
This
the,
last one was for free.
yeah, he does us a good job, let's put it that way, and, so, anyway, that's what we're doing there, and
How does that work? Because he had to sign one, I had to sign one. There's three of us that had to sign it. So there's only two that didn't sign it.
Would you agree with that?
I didn't hear what he said.
The three of us have a conflict of interest, so would the three of us abstain from this?
They're voting on their own conflict
oh,
of
I see what you're
interest.
saying.
Yes.
Yeah, so we can't.
Yeah. So are we good, we just vote with the two?
I think we're saying,
I'll-
do they all vote?
I'll let Steve.
Oh, you should
They
vote,
can
yes.
Yeah, you can vote.
You-
You can say-
Yeah, you
They can
should,
vote on their conflict of interest, right?
right, yeah.
We can
you're
vote on
just-
our own
Okay.
conflict of
Yes,
interest?
My bad.
yes. Yeah,
Good
you
deal,
should all
that makes it
vote.
easy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So do I have a motion?
I'll move to approve.
Motion made by Mr. Kennedy, seconded by
I'll second.
Mr. Blondell. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, like sign. Motion passes 5-0. Item 13, resolution to transfer appropriations.
Yeah, so this is something we need you to approve, if you would be so kind. It allows us to transfer appropriations from one major budget classification to another, only when necessary and only when the transfer does not require the expenditure of more money than the total set out in the final budget. So that, for example, that would be us taking rainy day money and putting that into another fund. It can't go above what we are appropriated unless we ask for additional appropriation. So anytime we do that, we make sure the board understands what we're doing there, and you get notification of how we're moving funds.
Do we have a motion?
I will make a motion.
Motion made by Mr. Blondell, as presented. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Mr. Kazee. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, like sign. Motion passes 5-0. Item 14, resolution for investment and checking interest.
Yep, so we have to designate where we are going to put our investments and checking account interest. We are recommending to the board that we put that into the operations fund, just like we did last year.
I'll move to approve.
Have a motion made by Mr. Kennedy. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. L. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, like sign. Motion passes 5-0. Item 15, resolution for school board compensation.
Yep, there you have a resolution that describes how you are going to be compensated. There's actually, this is more for the public and the crowd, there was actually changes made this past year that allowed school boards to actually pay themselves up to 10% of the lowest paid teacher in the corporation. So you could actually be paid $4,500 if boards wanted to do that. Before that, it was $2,000. And then there's all other kinds of, you can pay yourself fees for coming to each meeting, coming for special meetings. Some boards do that, some don't, but the one you have in front of you is to kind of stay status quo with the $2,000. So that will be for you to move on.
I move to accept it.
A second.
Motion made to accept it by Mr. Elliott, seconded by Mr. Kennedy. Do we have any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, like sign. Motion passes 5-0. Item 16, consideration of IRS mileage rate increase.
Yep, as of January 1, IRS has increased the mileage rate to 72.5%, so I'd ask that you approve that.
I'll make a motion to approve new mileage rate.
Motion by Mr. Kazee. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Mr. Blondell. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, like sign. Motion passes 5-0. Item 17, permission to cancel or void outdated checks.
Yeah, you have a list of checks there from time to time. For some reason, people don't want our money. And there's a date, there's an amount of time listed on those checks that you have to cash them, and if not, they become void, so.
Do I have one on there?
Look, 'cause
You're
So-
about to lose it.
Yep,
Yep.
those are the ones we are recommending that you void.
He's Transfinder Corporation.
I'll make a motion to
Yeah, that's
approve
easy.
the voided outdated.
Motion made by Mr. Kazee,
I'll second.
seconded by Mr. Blondell. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, like sign. Motion passes 5-0. Item 18, permission for corporation treasurer to pay billing in advance in order to meet billing timelines.
Yeah, so I'm gonna ask you permission to allow us, every once in a while, there's a bill that has to be paid before it's gonna be brought to the board for claims. That, most of the time, that's like an insurance payment, where if we don't wanna lapse insurance and things like that, once again.
utility bills, that
Yeah,
kind of stuff.
utility. Once again, I typically give you guys a heads up that, hey, we need to pay this, so just so you know, it's gonna be paid ahead of time, and you can approve that later. So I would ask you permission to allow us to do that.
I'll make a motion.
Motion made by Mr. Blondell. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Elliott. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, like sign. Motion passes 5-0. Item 19, permission to receive donation to the rainy day fund from Google.
Yeah, so I'll explain a little bit what's going on here, because it's gonna be contrary, what you see here, to what was put out to staff and things like that. So when Google contacted me about, what they wanted to do as far as a donation, they ended up telling us that they wanted to donate $175,000. So the question might be, well, why are we only accepting a donation of $50,000? for their tax purposes, they needed to get us the money two different ways. One way, they could do just a straight $50,000 wire to us. That has happened. We have that money. The other $125,000 they needed to run through a 501c3 entity, which we are not, but the Morgan County Foundation is. So they are running that money through the Morgan County Foundation. There's no strings attached. We can get to that money anytime we want. Nobody else can spend that money than us because it's under the line item in their budget that way. So we really don't need to, I think, accept that donation because it's not directly to us. It's through the Morgan County Foundation. So we're only accepting the $50,000 as a donation because the other is setting in an account with the Morgan County Foundation.
Would we have to accept the other whenever we take it? Like at that point, you could
Probably
donation
wouldn't be a
from the
bad idea to
foundation,
do
right?
that. Yeah, once we start pulling money out of there, probably a good idea to go ahead and accept it once we start using it.
Yeah, I would think so too. Okay.
I'm always in favor of accepting donations.
Yep,
so
I would agree.
To approve.
Motion made by Mr. Elliott. Do we have a second? Second by Mr. Kazee. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, like sign. Motion passes 5-0. Item 20, consideration of DECA field trip for State Career Development Conference.
Yep, Mr. Hankins, who is still our, what am I looking for? Sponsor, thank you. Still our sponsor for DECA, wants to do this field trip. And I'll put a little plug in here. He asked me to judge this past Saturday at the district DECA competition in Greenwood. And you want to talk about a neat experience, just seeing these kids get up. They had to do what I was judging, they had to do a marketing campaign. So me and another person were supposed to be the kind of owners of this business, and they're coming in and pitching a marketing campaign to us. So really neat thing. I mean, it's speaking skills, analytical skills, so they had to analyze the business they were doing. It was a really neat thing. So I wholeheartedly would say that this is a worthwhile field trip because it's another competition for them to go to and that sort of thing. So I will make that recommendation to you.
I'll move to approve.
Have a motion by Mr. Kennedy. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Mr. Kazee. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, like sign. Motion passes 5-0. Item 21, other.
Yeah, I'll just keep this brief. A few things I want to hit on here. I want to talk a little bit about strategic planning coming up. We do have some dates set for that, and I want the public to kind of know what we're doing there. So our strategic planning right now, the dates we have set are January 29th, February 4th, and then February 12th only if needed. So that last meeting is only if we absolutely need it. We think we're going to be able to get it done in just 2, but we needed that third one just in case we didn't get to something. The time of all 3 of those meetings will be at 6:30. We're going to host those at the elementary cafeteria. We thought that was kind of the easiest place for people to get to without having to go into the buildings too much. Information has started going out to community members and even staff members that we are inviting, but I do want to say this about staff. I'm going to send out an email to all staff this week inviting staff to come. Now, saying that, we might have to limit it a little bit. So what I'm going to ask is if you are really interested as a staff member in coming to this, let your building administrator know, and then they're going to let me know, and then we're going to take a look at the numbers getting closer to that. And then if we have to limit it in each building, we can say that, hey, we have to limit it to like 10 staff members from each building that are going to come. But what's going to happen at that strategic planning is we're going to talk about what we see as our future for Monroe-Gregg schools, both what you want to see for your kids academically, what you want to see for our facilities. So we're going to be talking about the strategic or the building plan that is out now, and that is available on our website, and I send it out to all staff too. So if you're interested in coming to that, let your administrator know once I get that information out, and we'll see how many people we can have take part in that. The RFQ, we have 2 RFQs out right now for maintenance and janitorial services. That's due January 30th. We've had several companies come and talk to us about that. So we'll see what the bids look like once we get those We also have an RFQ out for surveillance cameras. Those are due January 26th. That will be paid with bond money once we get a bidder on that. And we have lots of companies that are interested in that also. Want to say thank you to Monrovia Elementary PTO. If you haven't seen yet, board members, the cafeteria, they put some wraps on the walls that are really neat, and they did some in the elementary gym too. So it looks really cool. If you have a chance to go over there, take a look at that. I'll go over these really quickly. Monrovia High School November Singing Stars for concert choir was Kylan Wilkerson. Second period boys was Jackson Tuttle. Third period girls, Violet Chad. Those were sixth graders. Fifth period, seventh grade choir, Brooke Williams. Sixth period, sixth grade girls, Jane Standiford. And shooting stars was Emerson Hyatt. And then for December singing stars for concert choir, Alyssa Stevens. Second period, sixth grade boys, Elijah Evans. Third period, sixth grade girls, Abigail Gorley. Seventh grade choir, Grayson Shaver. Sixth period, sixth grade girls, Janaya Balthazar. And shooting stars, Jaden Wise. A little bit of sports, girls wrestling. Very successful year. I know, I think Ava Elliott just missed being able to go to state. She was leading in her match against the #1 seed. And then late in the match got reversed from what I understand and unfortunately got pinned. So she had a real good chance at going and just got knocked out there late. Boys wrestling, some success there too. Over the holidays, had some success, went 2-1 at the Columbus North Duels. Elementary wrestling won the state elementary wrestling title, which is, Mr. Blundell said, is not an easy thing to do. So good for them. Girls and boys basketball had a very good break, and even coming back to school has had some success. The girls are now 14-4, and the boys are 6-4. So definitely headed in the right direction on those teams too. So that is all I have right now.
All righty, do we have any final public comments? With that, I just want to thank you for the information that was given today. It's always one thing to always talk about victories. It's hard to talk about the information we talked about, but it's good to at least talk about it, know a plan, and hopefully in a year we can look back and it'll be a victory. So
absolutely
appreciate the information. I know we've got a really good group of teachers that work hard, and I know I appreciate you guys. So
Yeah.
with that, do we have anybody for adjournment?
So moved.
Adjournment by Mr. Elliott, seconded by Mr. Blundell. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion passes 5-0, 8:36.